And the role of a digital asset bank is therefore no different than the role of a traditional bank in providing a trusted financial market infrastructure so that all participants can interact with digital assets with peace of mind. And you mentioned a point about our value proposition. Well, our value proposition is really to be able to ensure that clients can adhere to the necessary regulatory frameworks in the jurisdictions that we operate in, so they never need to worry about tripping up any laws or
For sure, right?
yeah, exactly. Because I think everyone is fine taking, especially when it comes to digital assets and specifically maybe the cryptocurrency segment within digital assets. I think investors, by and large, are aware that it's a risky asset class,
sure.
and they're happy to take investment risk. But no one is prepared no one should have to take also counterparty risk and reputational risk unnecessarily.
Of course,
And so in that way, a bank like Sygnum Bank in Switzerland, we are the trust layer for folks to participate in future finance.
I mean, there's sensible risk to take, and then there's just unnecessary risk, right? I guess the other thing is that, being a digital asset bank that operates in Switzerland and also Singapore as well, which are hubs in Europe and Asia, how does these two markets compare in your view?
Yeah, I think both markets are, well, I would say globally, we see more and more of an increase in an interest in the adoption of digital assets, including cryptocurrencies, despite the more bear market conditions that we are facing. So I think across both Europe and Asia, the general trend and the trajectory is of increasing adoption, in particular amongst institutions, corporates, and high net worths, which I think it's fair to say had taken more of a back seat in the last wave of the crypto bull market. As to how the two markets differ, I think the Asian investors are far more comfortable with risk taking than what we're seeing from some of our more conservative European clients. So we have been pushed to evaluate various forms of structured products. We've been pushed to evaluate the launch of derivatives out here, maybe because of the familiarity of Asian investors with these structured products. So that's one, I think, at the product level, a difference. Otherwise, I think the other aspect that is somewhat different is the interest for folks to invest in startups and in the Web3 or metaverse space. I think maybe it's a little bit too much of a overgeneralized statement. But when we speak to the clients that we have in these two regions, we see that Asian investors, beyond just expressing curiosity and excitement for these opportunities, are actually deploying capital at an increased rate than our European clients.
That's a very insightful comparison between the two markets. I guess the other thing is that you spoke a little bit about the metaverse, and you guys have also been mandated to raise about 300 million for the metaverse. So that's pretty exciting. I guess, are you guys still bullish on the metaverse? What is the outlook on it? What's your thoughts on the metaverse at the moment?
Yeah, obviously, I think even finding a universal definition of what the metaverse means, I think we're still at the stage where we're sorting it out. However, with regards to the appetite from the innovators, like the companies that are building metaverses, as well as the interest and curiosity from the investors, I think on both fronts we are seeing incremental, in fact exponential a degree of excitement. So for us at Sygnum, our role to play here is to help bridge the issuers and the investors together. Thank you for pointing out our mandate. I think it's really exciting because
it is.
A few things. Let me, if you don't mind, let me just lay out. Right? The first thing is that the issuer, in this case Translucia, which is part of the broader TMD Media Group, and an affiliate company of theirs, MQDC or Magnolias, which is a leading real estate developer in Thailand. They had ideated the concept of launching a metaverse and a unique one in that it's a hybrid offline to online operating model, leveraging the the fact that they have multiple real estate developments already in Thailand, and they are sort of affiliated with the CP Group, which is a
Conglomerate, huge
significant
conglomerate.
conglomerate, right? However, as they were thinking about fundraising for this innovative new metaverse subsidiary, they hit a challenge in that if you are launching a metaverse, you can't run away from the need to also deploy in metaverse tokens, right? Be they utility tokens to facilitate payments, to facilitate activities, to incentivize behavior. So utility tokens on one hand, and on the other hand, NFTs. So land NFTs that represent ownership of digital plots of land within the metaverse. So you have this real, we think, fascinating challenge. You have to raise from traditional investors, your VCs, your corporate, your strategic investors.
Not the kind of guys who sleep and dream about the metaverse, right? It takes a bit of convincing.
Exactly. And you have to raise from them in instruments, securities that they appreciate and understand. And so you can't run away from having an equity component to the raise. At the same time, you don't want to miss the opportunity to utilize these new asset types that the blockchain has enabled, right? Utility tokens and NFTs. And you want to be able to have the best of both worlds. And that's where Sygnum has been able to play a part. We are hybridizing a fundraise that combines equity-linked instruments, so traditional instruments, alongside land NFTs, in-game NFTs, and raising upwards of $300 million US for the client.
Very exciting stuff. I think it's what's fascinating is that the kind of names that you bring up and the kind of names that we think about that's involved with the metaverse these days. Like 4 or 5 years ago, you can't even if you told me, I think you'd be joking, right? Like, you don't even think that these companies would be involved. But all the best in raising your 300 million. Quite a tall order. I wish you the best. What other trends or what other interesting things do you foresee happening in this space before I let you go?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, really appreciate the opportunity to comment on that. I think the real interesting things are the fact that as the metaverse developers go out and build, these sandboxes, right, and they are increasingly realizing that it's taking them out of their comfort zone, right? They no longer just have to be concerned about more classical sort of corporate decisioning. They also have to take on the role of central banks, of regulators, of also policing behaviors, right? What kind of behaviors should we encourage? What should we discourage? How do we ensure that there's a public square where the diversity of opinions can be raised and can be heard? At the same time, making sure that the bad eggs, the bad actors don't abuse that trust.
Certainly something important.
Right? So I think some really interesting philosophical conversations and questions that are being asked right now. And it's really you mentioned a tall order. It's a heavy burden on the shoulders of the metaverse developers, and one that we think Sygnum will be able to help them solve, at least as it relates to maybe the more mechanical fundraising components, right? Someone has to go and help them raise the capital to finance these endeavors, and has to make sure that in the process of innovating, they don't inadvertently breach any regulations, that they do everything in a completely compliant fashion, and also tax optimized fashion. So I think that's the role of a traditional corporate finance advisor, a traditional investment bank. So as companies are seeking to innovate new metaverse delivery models, also trying to sort out and solve these complicated philosophical, economic challenges, I think Sygnum plays an important role in being able to help them at least address the required fundraising needs, and doing so in a way that respects existing regulations, and most importantly also optimizes for tax efficiency. And just as these are functions that a traditional corporate finance advisor or investment bank would play in today's financial services, Sygnum plays a role as the next generation digital asset focused investment bank for this new generation of metaverse and Web3 corporate startups.
exciting things, a lot of soul searching for the industry to do as well. One last cheeky question before we go. How many plot of lands are you investing in today? Metaverse.
Personally, I'm not going to shill our own product. I'm not going to. You're not going to inadvertently make me trip up any solicitation requirements, Vincent. But I think Sygnum already has a presence on the metaverse. I think that's something that I wanted to share. We are on Decentraland right now, and
nice.
I think it's a great way. I think we're learning as well as at a bank level about this new channel to interact with our important stakeholders the world over. And I think we want to share those learnings also with clients when they mandate us to do important work for them.
Very cool. With that, Gerard, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Vincent.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.